The church bell rang softly as Clara Johnson adjusted her veil for the last time. 28 years old, an accountant, she had always dreamed of this moment. The white dress hugged her body in a way she had never felt beautiful before. 200 people were waiting inside. Her family, friends, everyone she knew. "It's time, daughter," said her father, offering his arm. Clara took a deep breath. 2 years of dating, 1 year of engagement, all the preparations. Ryan always said he loved her just the way she was. Always. The church doors opened. The music began. Clara walked down the aisle smiling, greeting the guests with her eyes. Ryan was there at the altar, handsome in the navy blue suit she had chosen herself, but something felt off. He wasn't smiling back. He seemed too nervous, sweating. It must just be nerves, Clara thought as she reached the altar. Father John began the ceremony with his usual warm smile. "We are gathered here to celebrate the union of Clara and Ryan." Clara couldn't stop smiling. It was happening. Finally, Ryan Smith, do you take Clara Johnson to be your wife, to love and cherish her, in joy and in sorrow, in health and in sickness, in wealth and in poverty, for all the days of your life? The silence that followed was eternal. Clara felt her heart race. Ryan looked at her, then at the priest, then at the 200 people waiting for the answer. Clara held her breath. "I can't." The words echoed throughout the church. Clara blinked, thinking she had heard wrong. "What do you mean, my son?" the priest asked, confused. Ryan turned to Clara. His gaze was cold, cruel, as if she were a stranger. "I'm sorry, Clara, but I can't pretend to be attracted to you anymore." The church fell into absolute silence. Clara felt her legs go weak. "Ryan, what are you saying?" She whispered. "Look at you," he said, loud enough for everyone to hear. "You look like a whale in that dress. I deserve someone better, someone I can be proud to introduce as my wife." Clara's world collapsed. 200 people watching. The priest was speechless. Her mother was crying in the front pews. Her father was trying to stand up, being held back by her uncles. "I can't live a lie," Ryan continued. "You've gained too much weight in these 2 years. I tried to pretend it didn't bother me, but I can't do it anymore. I'm sorry." Clara was frozen. Tears began to stream down her face, smudging the makeup that had taken 3 hours to apply. "Ryan, please," she managed to say, her voice trembling. "We can talk, not here. Not like this. There's nothing to talk about, Clara. It's over." He took off the ring and placed it on the altar. He turned his back and started walking toward the exit. Clara stood there at the altar alone. The white dress that had seemed so beautiful now weighed like lead. Whispers began. People were pulling out their phones, recording, taking pictures. "My daughter," the priest tried to approach, but Clara was already running. She lifted the hem of her dress and ran down the aisle. People stepped aside as if she were contagious. Someone shouted, "Clara, wait!" But she didn't stop. She burst through the church doors, stumbled down the stairs in her dress, got into the car that was waiting for the newlyweds, and shouted to the driver, "Get me out of here now!" As the car pulled away, Clara looked through the back window. Ryan was talking to the groomsmen at the church door, laughing, as if nothing had happened. Her phone was already ringing non-stop. Notifications coming in every second. She looked at the screen and her blood ran cold. The video was already on social media. Someone had filmed everything and posted it on Instagram. "The groom abandons the fat bride at the altar," read the caption. It already had 1,000 views. Clara got home and locked the door. She threw her phone on the couch, but the device wouldn't stop ringing. It was impossible to ignore. She picked up the phone. The screen showed 47 missed calls, 23 messages on WhatsApp, 112 notifications from Instagram. "My God," she whispered, sitting heavily on the couch. She opened Instagram with trembling hands. The video already had 50,000 views. And the comments were a nightmare. "He did the right thing. No one is obligated to marry a whale. Poor guy. Imagine having to live with that. She should be ashamed to walk down the aisle like that." At least he was honest. Clara threw her phone away and broke down in tears. She cried until there were no more tears left. When she managed to calm down a bit, she went to the kitchen. She opened the fridge and started eating. Everything she found. Chocolate, leftover cake from the bachelorette party, ice cream brigadeiros. She ate until she felt sick. The landline rang. It was her mother. "Clara, my daughter, where are you?" "Everyone is asking." "I'm at home, Mom. I don't want to talk to anyone." "Daughter, come over to the house." "You can't be alone right now." "I just want to be alone." "Clara, listen." But Clara hung up the phone. In the following 3 days, the situation only got worse. The video truly went viral. 1 million views. 2 million. It became a meme. It became a national joke. They called her the whale bride in the comments. Clara didn't leave the house. She asked for a medical leave at work. She turned off her phone. But the neighbors kept passing in front of the house, pointing. Some people even stopped to take pictures. On the 4th day, someone knocked on the door. Clara thought it was her mom, but when she looked out the window, she saw a young girl holding flowers. "Hi, are you Clara? I came to bring this for you." Clara opened the door suspiciously. "Who are you?" "Oh, I'm a fan of yours." "The way you ran away was very brave. I would never have the courage." "A fan of mine?" "Yes." "There were a lot of people defending you in the comments, saying that guy was such a jerk." "Look," the girl showed her phone. Clara saw that there were indeed people supporting her. Not many, but there were some. "Thank you for the flowers," Clara said, still confused. When the girl left, Clara felt something different. A little spark of hope. Maybe not everyone thought Ricardo was right, but that feeling didn't last long. By the end of the day, her mum showed up with news that shattered any hope that remained. "Sweetheart, I saw on Mariana's Facebook. Ricardo is dating." Clara felt the world spin. "How can you be dating? It's only been 4 days. That blonde girl, Julia, she posted a picture of them together today. They were at the mall." Clara went straight to her laptop. She searched for the profile of that Julia. When she saw the picture, she felt like throwing up. She was a model. Literally. She had a perfect body, a doll-like face, and a stunning smile. And she was in the arms of the man who was supposed to be her husband. The caption of the photo read, "When you find true love, you know it the first time you see it." The comments were all supportive. What a beautiful couple. "You were made for each other." Ryan deserves to be happy after that horrible situation. Clara closed the laptop and went to the kitchen. She ate everything she found in the fridge. Then she ordered a large pizza, then a burger, then ice cream. On the 6th day, locked up at home, Clara heard a knock at the door. She thought it was her mom again, but when she opened it, there was no one there. Just a white envelope on the floor. She picked up the letter and closed the door. There was no sender. She opened it with curiosity and found a sheet of paper with a handwritten message. "Clara, you need to know the truth." Ryan made a bet with his friend 6 months ago. He bet that he wouldn't last 6 months married to you. He said he would hold on just for the money from the party, which his parents were paying for. I was there when he said that. I thought you should know. A friend. Clara read the letter 3 times, 4, 5. Reality slowly sank in. 6 months. He had been planning to break up with her for 6 months, all this time pretending to love her, pretending that he wasn't bothered by her weight, pretending that he was excited for the wedding. All lies. All a big, cruel lie. Clara sat on the living room floor and cried again. But this time it wasn't just sadness. It was anger. An anger she had never felt before. The phone rang. It was her sister. "Clara, you need to get out of the house. You can't stay like this forever. Did you know?" Clara asked, getting straight to the point. "Know what?" "About the bet." Ryan made a bet on how long he would last married to me. Silence on the other end. "Rebecca, did you know?" "Clara, I heard some comments, but I thought they were just rumors." "And you didn't tell me?" "I wasn't sure." "And you were so happy with the preparations." Clara hung up the phone. Her own sister knew and hadn't told her. When her mother arrived in the late afternoon, Clara was different, more calm, more determined. "Sweetheart, you need to accept that Ryan didn't want you anymore. There's no point in dwelling on it. You have to move on." "Move on how, Mom?" "Go back to your parents' house. Spend some time with us. Then you can find another guy. Someone who likes a woman more cuddly." "Cuddly?" "Sweetheart, you know you're not skinny. And these days, men like skinny women. That's the reality." Clara looked at her mother with a coldness she didn't even know she possessed. "So do you think he did the right thing?" "I think he was honest. It hurt, but at least he was honest. Get out of my house, Clara. Get out of my house now." The next day, Clara did something that surprised even herself. She went to her room, grabbed the wedding dress, and took it to the living room. Then she went to gather everything related to the wedding. Invitations, favors, gift registry, photos from the photo shoot, even the appliances they had received as gifts. She sold everything online. The dress for $800, the rings for $1,200, the appliances for another $1,500. By the end of the day, she had $3,200 in her account. With the money in hand, Clara made a decision that would change her life forever. Elite Fitness Gym was the most expensive gym in town. Clara always passed by and thought it was a place for rich and beautiful people. She never imagined she would step inside one day. But there she was, with the money in her bag and a determination that surprised even herself. The receptionist, a stunning blonde in a tight uniform, looked Clara up and down with a confused expression. "Can I help you?" "I want to sign up." The girl blinked a few times. "Here?" "Yeah." "Well, the monthly fee is $300. "I know. I want to pay for a year up front." This completely changed the receptionist's demeanor. She called the manager, who eventually called Ryan Oliver. Ryan was different from all the personal trainers Clara had ever seen. Tall, strong, but had a calm demeanor. Kind brown eyes. About 32 years old. "Hi, I'm Ryan. I heard you want to start a workout." Clara nodded. She was nervous but determined. "Can I ask what your goal is?" Clara took a deep breath. It was the first time she was going to tell someone. "A week ago, I was left at the altar, in front of 200 people. The guy said I looked like a whale and that I deserved someone better." Ryan stopped writing on the form and looked at her. "He said that at the church?" "At the church, in front of everyone. And it went viral on the internet." "Wow, what a guy." Ryan controlled himself. "What a horrible person. Everyone thinks he did the right thing. My family, my friends. Everyone thinks I'm too fat and that he was right to leave me. And you? What do you think?" Clara thought for a moment. "I think he's a coward. And I think I'm going to prove that he was wrong about me." Ryan smiled for the first time. "Then let's do this. But I need to tell you something from the start." "What?" "This isn't going to be easy. It's going to hurt a lot. And it's not just physical. It's emotional too. You're going to want to give up 1,000 times." "I'm not going to give up." "Everyone says that on the first day." "I'm not everyone." Raphael studied her face for a few seconds. "Okay, let's do this. The first week is free. If you can come every day and do everything I tell you without complaining, we can talk about a special plan." "What kind of special plan?" "You told me your story. No one deserves to go through such humiliation. If you really want to change, I will help you. But it has to be 100%. No halfway." Clara felt a spark of hope for the first time in a week. "When do we start?" "Now." Raphael took Clara to see the gym. It was huge, full of equipment she had never seen before. Beautiful people working out. "First, we're going to do an assessment," said Raphael, leading her to a private room. Clara stepped on the scale. The number that appeared shocked her. 100 kilograms. She had gained 5 kilograms in a week of despair. "That's okay," said Raphael, taking notes. "Now let's see how your conditioning is." He asked her to get on a treadmill. She started slowly, but in 2 minutes Clara was already out of breath. "Stop," said Ryan. "That's enough for today." "Enough? But we haven't even started." "Clara, you're really out of shape. If I push you now, you might get hurt. Let's take it easy." Clara felt tears welling up. "I'm a lost cause, aren't I?" "On the contrary. You have a lot of potential, but real transformation takes time." At that moment, Clara felt a strong dizziness. The world started to spin. "Ryan, I think I—" And she fainted right there in the middle of the gym. Clara woke up on the reception sofa. Ryan was next to her with a glass of water with sugar. "Calm down. You just had a drop in blood pressure." "When was the last time you ate something healthy?" Clara thought. In the last week, she had only eaten junk. Pizza, burgers, sweets, soda. I don't remember, she admitted. That explains it. Here's the plan. Today you're going home, eat some real food and rest. Tomorrow we start over. Are you not going to give up on me? Of course not. But you need to understand that your body is crying for help. We will take care of this together. On the way home, Clara stopped at the supermarket. She bought fruits, vegetables, lean meat, everything Raphael had suggested. It felt strange to be in the healthy products aisle instead of the candy aisle. When she got home, her mother was waiting at the door. And she wasn't alone. Her father and sister Rebecca were there too. Clara, sweetheart, we heard you signed up for an expensive gym. What kind of madness is this? Said her mother. It's not madness, Mom. I'm going to change my life. Sweetheart, stop it, said her father. You sold everything you had. You can't just waste money. This isn't wasting money. It's investing in myself. Investing in what? Asked Rebecca. Clara, you've always been chubby. It's in the family. Grandma was like that. Aunt Carmen is like that. Stop fighting against nature. I will not accept it. Then you'll be suffering forever, said the mother. Because you'll never be like those girls at the gym. Never. You don't know what I'm capable of. I do. I've known you since you were born. You've always been the kid who ate in secret, who didn't like physical education, who preferred to stay home watching TV. That was before. And what has changed? A guy left you at the altar and now you think you're going to become a model. Clara felt the anger rising. It was incredible how her own family could be more cruel than strangers on the internet. Get out of my house. Clara, the father began. Get out, now. Sweetheart, you're being irrational. I said to get out. The family exchanged shocked glances. Clara had never yelled in her life. All right, said the mother, hurt. When you get tired of this stubbornness, you know where to find us. After they left, Clara locked the door and leaned against it. She was alone, completely alone, but for the first time in a week, she didn't feel defeated. She picked up the phone and called the gym. Hello, Ryan. It's Clara. I want to start tomorrow morning, and I want you to promise me one thing. What? Don't feel sorry for me. No matter how much I cry or complain, you said you would help me, so really help me. On the other end of the line, Ryan smiled. Don't worry. I'll see you at 6 in the morning. Clara hung up the phone and went to the kitchen. She threw away all the junk she had bought in the last week. Then she prepared a simple salad and a grilled chicken breast. It wasn't tasty, but it was the first step. While eating, she thought about the anonymous letter, about the bet that Ryan had made, about the family that didn't believe in her. You'll see, she whispered to herself. You all will see. But deep down, a small voice in her head whispered, what if they're right? What if you really are a lost cause? Clara shook her head, trying to push the thought away. But the doubt was there, and it was going to be the hardest company to face. Tomorrow, at 6 in the morning, her new life would begin. 3 months had passed since that morning when Clara had kicked her family out of the house and started her new life at the gym. And the results were showing. From the 100 kilos she weighed on the first day, Clara had lost 12 kilos. Her arms were starting to show muscles she didn't even know existed. Look at this, said Ryan, pointing to her bicep. See this definition? This didn't exist 3 months ago. Clara smiled. It was the first time she felt proud of her body as far back as she could remember. I feel different, she admitted. Stronger. Like I could face anything. And you really can. You have no idea how much you've progressed. The 3 months had been tough. Very tough. In the first days, Clara cried in the middle of her workouts. Not just from physical pain, but from the emotional pain she still carried. Ryan was always there, patient, never giving up on her. Do you remember the first day when you fainted on the treadmill? Ryan asked, laughing. How could I forget? What a shame. Yesterday you ran for 15 minutes straight. Do you know what that means? Clara shook her head. It means you are much stronger than you think. And it's not just physical. It's mental too. Clara was finishing her workout when her phone rang. It was a message from her cousin Fernanda. I saw you at the gym today. Wow, you look really different. Congratulations. It was the first compliment she had received from family in 3 months. Since she had kicked everyone out of the house, no one had reached out to her. It hurt a little, but it also made her feel freer. You're smiling more, Ryan observed, putting away the equipment. Really? Yes. At first you barely looked in the mirror. Now you look at yourself and smile. Clara really was different. Not just in her body, but in her posture, the way she walked, the way she spoke. She had a confidence she had never had before. Ryan, can I ask you something? Sure. Why did you decide to help me? I mean, for free. You could be making money with other clients. Ryan stopped what he was doing and looked at her. Because everyone deserves a second chance. And because you reminded me of myself. What do you mean? I used to be overweight too, Clara. In my teenage years, I weighed a lot. I was bullied in school. Clara was shocked. It was hard to imagine Ryan being overweight. Really, really. And I know how much it hurts when people judge you just by your appearance. When they decide you're worth nothing because of your weight. What changed for you? One day I got tired of being a victim, just like you. I decided I would prove to everyone that they were wrong about me. Clara felt a connection with Ryan that went beyond personal trainer and student. It was as if they shared a similar pain. And did you succeed? Look at me now, he smiled. I became a personal trainer. I have my life. I'm happy. But do you know what the best part was? What? Discovering that the opinion of others does not define who I am. Only my opinion matters. Clara was absorbing these words when something caught her attention through the gym window. Her heart raced. Ryan, she whispered, don't look now, but there's someone familiar out on the street. Ryan glanced discreetly. He saw a handsome man, well-dressed, standing on the sidewalk looking at the gym. Who is it? It's John. Clara. Clara, is that really you? John's voice echoed through the gym. Some people stopped working out to look. Clara felt her stomach churn, but this time it wasn't from nervousness. It was irritation. Hi, John, she replied, trying to keep her voice steady. John approached, clearly impressed by her transformation. Wow, you look very different. Thanks. No, seriously. You've lost weight. You're beautiful. Clara felt a mix of satisfaction and disgust. It was exactly what she wanted to hear, but coming from him, it hurt in a strange way. What do you want, John? I wanted to talk to you. Can we get out of here? Ryan approached. Is there a problem, Clara? No, everything's fine. Ryan, this is Raphael, my personal trainer. Raphael, this is Ryan. The two men greeted each other coldly. Clara, please. Just 5 minutes. I need to talk to you. Against her better judgment, Clara agreed. They left the gym and went to the mall's plaza next door. Listen, Clara, I know I was an idiot. What I did was horrible. It was. But I was nervous, scared. Marriage is a serious thing, and You made a bet, Ryan. His expression changed completely. How did you know? Does it matter? You bet that we wouldn't last 6 months married. Everything has been a lie from the start. It wasn't exactly like that. How was it then? Ryan sighed. The guys were teasing me, saying I was crazy to marry you. So I said that to defend myself. But I didn't mean it. Wasn't it serious? You humiliated me in front of 200 people because of a tease from your friends. Clara, I know I messed up. But look at you now. You're beautiful, in shape. We could try again. Clara almost laughed. Are you serious? And you really think so? Of course. Julia and I broke up 2 weeks ago. She was very immature, only thinking about parties and the mall. She wasn't like you? Like me? You've always been smart, a companion. I was an idiot for not appreciating that. Clara looked at Ryan. 3 months ago, hearing those words would have made her cry with relief. Now she only felt sorry for him. You know, Ryan, thank you. Thank you? Yeah, thank you for leaving me at the altar. It was the best thing you could have done for me. Clara, no, let me finish. You're right, I changed. But not in the way you think. I didn't become someone else to please you. I discovered who I really am. And I can guarantee you one thing. The person I am today would never, ever marry someone like you. Ryan was stunned. But Clara... And another thing. Stop looking for me. Stop passing by the gym. Stop asking others about me. It's over, Ryan. Got it? It's over. And with that, Clara turned her back and walked away. She could hear Ryan shouting her name, but she didn't turn around even once. When she returned to the gym, Rebecca was waiting with a proud smile. "So, how did it go?" "Better than I imagined. From what I heard from here, you did really well. You heard. The window was open, and you spoke pretty loudly." Rebecca laughed. "But you said everything right." Clara felt lighter than she had in months. For the first time, she had truly stood up for herself. And the best part, she had spoken the truth. She really wouldn't marry Ryan even if he were the last man on earth. "Do you want to continue the workout, or would you prefer to go home?" "I want to continue. In fact, I want to double the workout. I have a ton of energy," but while working out, Clara couldn't stop thinking about one thing. If Ryan wanted to get back together with her, what had happened with Julia? 2 weeks after the meeting with Ryan, Clara was at the pharmacy buying vitamins when she saw something that piqued her curiosity. Julia was at the checkout, buying a pregnancy test. Clara hid behind a shelf of products, watching. Julia looked nervous, glancing around all the time, as if she were afraid someone would see her. When Julia left, Clara kept thinking, if she was pregnant, would it be Ryan's? But hadn't they broken up? Curiosity got the better of her. Clara decided to follow Julia from a distance, just to see where she was going. Julia entered a coffee shop and sat at a table in the back. A few minutes later, a man sat down with her. It wasn't Ryan. Clara moved a little closer and was able to see better. The man was older, well-dressed, and wore a wedding ring. Julia showed him the pregnancy test and started to cry. The man looked visibly nervous, glancing around and speaking softly. Then he took money from his wallet and gave it to Julia. She took the money but continued to cry. Clara was shocked. Julia was pregnant by a married man, and by the looks of it, he wasn't happy about the news at all. When the man left, Clara saw him get into an expensive car with a blonde woman in the passenger seat, probably his wife. Julia was left alone in the coffee shop, crying and fiddling with her phone. Clara felt a pang of pity. No matter how cruel Julia had been to her, no one deserved to go through this alone. It was when Clara's phone rang. It was a message from an unknown number. "Clara, this is Julia. Do you have Ryan's number? I need to talk to him urgently." Clara stared at the message. How had Julia gotten her number? And why was she asking for Ryan's number if they were dating? "How did you get my number?" Clara typed. "A friend of yours gave it to me. Fernanda, please, it's urgent." Clara looked at Julia in the coffee shop. She really seemed desperate. "Aren't you two together anymore?" Clara asked. "No, we broke up 2 weeks ago." "But I need to talk to him," Clara thought. If they had broken up 2 weeks ago, it was exactly when Ryan had reached out to her at the gym. "Sorry, I don't have his number anymore," Clara lied. In fact, she had deleted the number a month ago when she decided to stop stalking his life on social media. Ryan had suggested this in one of their training sessions, and she had agreed it would be better. "Please, Clara. It's very important." Clara looked again at Julia. The girl was clearly in despair. Pregnant by a married guy, abandoned by her boyfriend. But Clara remembered the cruel words Julia had said at the mall. "A woman like you only does something when a man is involved." "I can't help you," Clara typed and put her phone away. She left the pharmacy feeling strange. Part of her wanted to help Julia, but another part thought she was reaping what she had sown. When she arrived at the gym, Ryan noticed she was deep in thought. Did something happen? Clara told him everything she had seen. Ryan listened in silence. "And you didn't help her?" "No, should I have helped?" "I don't know." "How do you feel about the decision?" "Confused. She was horrible to me. But at the same time you feel sorry for her." "Yes, Clara, you are not obligated to help those who hurt you. But you also don't need to seek revenge. The choice is always yours. And what would be the right choice? The one that brings you peace with yourself." Clara thought about Raphael's words. Was she really at peace with the decision not to help Julia? Or was she just being vindictive? The truth is that she didn't know, and that bothered her more than she expected. The next day, Clara was in the middle of her workout when her phone rang. It was Julia again. "Clara, please." I got Ricardo's number from someone else, but he isn't answering my calls. Can you talk to him for me? Clara paused in the middle of her set of crunches. Julia, I already told you I can't help you, but you still talk to him, right? You met at the mall last week. How do you know that? Ricardo told me. He said you two talked. Clara got irritated. Ricardo was spreading that they had talked as if it was something friendly. We didn't talk. He showed up out of nowhere, and I told him to leave me alone. Even so, you can talk to him. I can't. Why did you break up? There was silence on the other end. It's complicated, Julia finally said. Complicated how? I found out some things about him. Some ugly things. Clara felt her curiosity grow. What kind of things? He's not who I thought he was. Julia, if you want my help, you're going to have to be more specific. Another silence. He cheated on me. Multiple times. With several women. Clara wasn't surprised. In fact, she was impressed that Ryan managed to hide it for so long, and now you want to get back with him. No, God forbid. I just need to talk to him about something important. What thing? I can't talk over the phone. Clara sighed. From Julia's voice, she was clearly desperate, and Clara suspected it had to do with the pregnancy she had seen the day before. Julia, listen. Ryan isn't worth it, trust me. Whatever the problem is, you can solve it without him. It's not that simple. Why? Because I'm pregnant. Clara feigned surprise, even though she already knew. Pregnant. By him? I don't know. The answer surprised Clara. What do you mean you don't know? It's complicated, Clara. Very complicated. Clara thought about the scene she had seen at the coffee shop. Julia with the married man. The pregnancy test. The money. Julia, did you cheat on Ryan too? Total silence on the other end. Julia, I have to go. If you change your mind about helping me, call me. And she hung up. Clara stared at the phone. The situation was much more complicated than she had imagined. Julia was pregnant and didn't know who the father was. Ryan was being cheated on without knowing. And she was caught in the middle of all this confusion. Ryan approached. Problem? Julia's pregnant. By him? She doesn't know. I think she cheated on him too. Raphael whistled softly. What a mess. And she wants me to help her talk to him. Are you going to help? Clara thought. Part of her wanted to get involved in the mess just to see the circus catch fire. But another part, the part that had grown in these months of therapy and training, knew it wasn't her problem. No, she finally said. It's not my problem. Are you sure? I am. They can sort it out themselves. But even saying that, Clara couldn't stop thinking about the situation. And deep down, a wicked part of her was curious to see what would happen when Ryan found out the truth. A week later, Clara was leaving the gym when she saw a scene that left her in shock. Ryan and Julia were fighting in the parking lot of the mall. It was an ugly argument with her shouting and gesturing wildly. You are a liar! A scoundrel, Julia shouted, and you are a gold digger. You just want my money, Ryan shouted back. Clara hid behind a car to listen better. I never wanted your money. I wanted you to take responsibility. Responsibility for what? You said yourself you don't know who the father is. But it could be yours. It could be anyone's. You slept with half the mall. Julia slapped Ryan's face. He turned red with anger. If you come near me again, I'll call the police, shouted Ryan. You won't get rid of me that easily. I will! And if you keep bothering me, I'll tell everyone how many guys you were dating at the same time. Julia turned pale. You wouldn't do that. Want to bet? That's when Julia saw Clara hiding behind the car. Clara, were you there the whole time? Clara felt terrible. She had been caught eavesdropping. I was just passing by. Ryan turned and saw Clara too. Great, now there's a witness. Witness for what? Asked Clara, from her madness. Do you see how she is? That's why I couldn't marry you. Imagine if you turned out like her. Clara felt the anger rise. Like her how? Crazy, desperate, hysterical. Ryan, you're disgusting, Clara said. Oh, now you two are going to team up against me? You don't need to team up against anyone. You've already sunk yourself. Clara turned to Julia. Julia, come with me. Let's get out of here. No, Clara, I need to sort this out with him. You don't need to sort anything out. He's not worth it. But the baby? The baby will be fine." With or without him, Julia started to cry. "You don't understand. I have no one. My family kicked me out when they found out about the pregnancy." Clara felt her heart tighten. She knew well the feeling of being abandoned by family. "Then come with me. We can talk," Ryan laughed. What a touching scene. The two rejects comforting each other. That was the last straw for Clara. She turned to Ryan with a fury she didn't even know she had. "Do you know something, Ryan? I spent months blaming myself for you leaving me, thinking I wasn't good enough. But now I see the truth." "What truth?" "You weren't good enough for me. You're a small, cruel man who only feels good by humiliating others. And do you know why? Because you're a coward. I'm not a coward. You are. You're too much of a coward to take responsibility for your actions. Too cowardly to admit when you're wrong. Too cowardly to be a real man." Ryan turned red with anger. "You can't talk to me like that." "I can, and do you know why? Because I'm not afraid of you anymore. Not of your opinion. Not of anything." Clara took Julia by the hand. "Let's get out of here." The two left Ryan alone in the parking lot, shouting by himself. When they arrived at a nearby coffee shop, Julia was crying. "Thank you, Clara. You didn't have to do that." "I know, but no one deserves to be treated that way, even after everything I told you that day." Clara sighed. "Look, Julia, you were cruel to me, and it hurt. But that doesn't mean I have to be cruel to you too. Why are you being nice to me?" "Because I've learned something in these past few months. Life is already hard enough. We don't need to make it harder." Julia smiled for the first time. "You've really changed. Not just on the outside. Yeah, I've changed. And now, what do I do? Now you take care of yourself and your baby. Then forget about Ryan. What if the baby is his? Then you sue him for child support. But stop chasing after him begging. You are worth more than that." Julia nodded. "You're right." When they said goodbye, Clara felt strange. She had just helped the woman who had humiliated her, but at the same time, she felt good about herself. Upon arriving at the gym, Ryan noticed that she was different. Did something happen? Clara shared everything. Ryan listened in silence, with a proud smile on his face. "And how do you feel?" "Good, light, like I've closed a chapter." "That's because you really have. You finally understood who you are." "Who am I?" "A good person. A strong person. A person who doesn't need revenge to be happy." Clara smiled. Ryan was right. She didn't need to prove anything to Ryan anymore. She didn't need revenge anymore. She didn't need anything but to be herself. "Ryan, can I ask you a question?" "Of course. Do you want to have dinner with me tonight? Not as a trainer and student, as friends?" Ryan smiled. "I would love to. But can I suggest something?" "What?" "That it be more than just friends." Clara felt her heart race. "Are you sure?" "I am. I like you, Clara, a lot. And it's not just professional admiration. I like you too." Then it's settled. Dinner tonight. Like a real date. And for the first time in a long time, Clara smiled for a reason that was just hers. It had nothing to do with revenge, with Ryan, or proving something to someone. It was just pure happiness. 2 days after the fight in the parking lot, Clara arrived at the gym, still thinking about the conversation she had with Ryan about dinner. He had been so kind to invite her, so different from everything she was used to. The workout flew by. Ryan was more attentive than usual, always asking if she was okay, if she needed anything. "Clara, can I ask you something?" he said as they were finishing up. "Sure. Do you still want to have dinner with me tonight?" Clara smiled. "I do, very much. Then let's go. I know a nice place." The Italian restaurant was small and cozy, away from the city center. They talked about everything, except the gym and Ryan. It was the first time in months that Clara felt like a normal person. "I didn't even remember how nice it was to have a conversation that didn't revolve around my problems," Clara said. "Finishing the tiramisu. You have other topics besides your problems," Ryan smiled. "You just needed to rediscover them." "Yeah, I kind of forgot who I was before all this confusion. And who were you?" Clara thought for a moment. "I used to like reading. Old movies. Cooking on Sundays. Silly things like that. Those aren't silly things. They're the things that make you, you." When they left the restaurant, Ryan insisted on walking Clara home. They walked slowly, without hurry. "Thank you for dinner," Clara said when they reached the door. "It's been a while since I've had so much fun." "Thank you." "It's been a while since I went out with someone who made me really laugh." They stood there, not knowing how to say goodbye. The tension in the air was almost palpable. "Clara, can I tell you something?" "Sure. These months training with you have been the best of my career. Not just because you've improved so much, but because I fell in love with you." Clara's heart raced. "Ryan, I know it might be too soon, and I know you're still recovering from everything that happened, but I couldn't keep this to myself." Clara looked into his eyes. She saw sincerity, affection, respect. Everything she never had with John. "I fell in love with you too," she whispered. That was when Ryan leaned in and kissed her. Slowly, gently, as if she were something precious that could break. The kiss was different from anything Clara had ever felt. It wasn't desperate like the kisses with John. It was soft, tender, full of promises. When they pulled apart, Clara was breathless. "Wow," she whispered. "Yeah. Wow indeed. Ryan, I want to try with you. But you need to understand that sometimes I still feel scared." Ryan cupped her face with both hands. "Clara, I completely understand. And I will give you all the time you need. No pressure. How are you so sure?" "Because I've been through the same pain you have. And I know the damage it does. I would never do that to someone I love. Do you love me?" Ryan smiled. "Very much." Clara felt her eyes fill with tears. But this time they were tears of happiness. "I love you too." The next day, Clara arrived at the gym floating. Ryan was waiting with a subtle smile. "Good morning, girlfriend," he said softly. "Good morning, boyfriend." It was strange and wonderful at the same time. Being with someone who knew her at her worst moments and still chose to stay. They were in the middle of their workout when Clara's phone rang. It was an unknown number. "Hello? Clara? This is John, Ryan's mother." Clara almost dropped the phone. "Mrs. Smith?" "Yes, can I talk to you?" "It's urgent." Clara met Mrs. Smith at a diner near the gym. The woman was visibly nervous, fidgeting with her hands. "Thank you for coming, my dear. Mrs. Smith, are you okay?" "No, Clara, I'm not. And that's what I want to talk to you about." The woman took a deep breath before continuing. "I know my son did something terrible to you, and I want to apologize." Clara was surprised. "You don't need to apologize for his mistakes." "I do. Because I raised him, and I failed as a mother." "Mrs. Smith, let me finish, please. Ryan has always been spoiled. He always thought he could do whatever he wanted without consequences. And I let him." Clara listened in silence. "When he told me he was going to end the marriage, I tried to convince him not to do it at the church. But he didn't listen to me. Did you know? I did. And I am ashamed of that to this day." Mrs. Smith started to cry. "Clara, my son has become a man I don't recognize. He's doing horrible things." "What kind of things?" "He's blackmailing Julia, threatening to spread lies about her if she doesn't stop looking for him." Clara frowned. "Lies?" "Yes. He made up that she was sleeping with several men at the same time, that she's a gold digger." "Which isn't true. How do you know?" "But Julia, for example, she took a DNA test a few weeks ago. It came back positive for Ryan, but he refuses to take responsibility." Clara thought about the scene she had seen at the pharmacy. Julia buying a pregnancy test. The married man at the coffee shop. Things started to make sense. "Mrs. Smith, I came here because I need your help." "My help for what?" "To convince Ryan to do the right thing. He has always respected you. Maybe he'll listen to you." Clara almost laughed. "Mrs. Smith, Ryan humiliated me in front of 200 people. Why do you think he will listen to me?" "Because he's regretful. He talks about you all the time." "What does he say?" "That he made the biggest mistake of his life. That you were the most honest woman he ever met." Clara felt a mix of satisfaction and irritation. It was good to know that Ryan regretted it, but it was too little too late. "Mrs. Smith, I understand your situation, but I can't help." "Why not?" "Because it's not my problem. Ryan made his choices. Now he has to face the consequences. But the child will be fine. Julia will figure it out. And if Ryan doesn't want to take responsibility, she can sue him." Mrs. Smith sighed. "You've really changed." "I have. And it was for the better. When they said goodbye, Clara returned to the gym, deep in thought. It was sad to see a mother desperate because of her son's mistakes. But it wasn't her responsibility to fix Ryan's life, so... "How was it?" Raphael asked when she arrived. "Strange. His mother wants me to convince him to take responsibility for Julia's child. And are you going to do that?" "Of course not. It's not my problem." But a part of Clara felt uneasy. What if she really could help? What if a conversation could resolve Julia's situation? At the end of the day, she was leaving the gym when she saw something that changed everything. Ryan was putting up posters on the street poles. When she approached to see what it was, she was shocked. It was a photo of her taken from afar with the words, "Clara Johnson, warning. This woman is stalking my fiancé. If you see her lurking around events or churches, call the police." Clara felt a rage she hadn't felt in months. This bastard has crossed the line, she whispered to herself. She grabbed her phone and called Ryan Oliver. "Ryan, can you come outside? It's urgent." When Ryan saw the posters, he turned red with anger. "This is a crime, Clara. Slander and defamation." "I know. And now I'm going to do something I should have done a long time ago." "What?" Clara looked at Ryan with a determination he had never seen before. "I'm going to put an end to his charade once and for all." Clara spent the entire night thinking about what to do. The posters were the last straw. Ryan had crossed all boundaries. In the morning, she sought out a lawyer. Dr. Henry was a serious man, specializing in digital law. "Mrs. Clara, what Mr. Ryan did is indeed a crime. Defamation, slander, and misuse of image. What can I do?" "We can file a civil suit and also make a police report." Clara nodded. It was exactly what she needed. When she left the lawyer's office, she felt more determined than ever. But it still wasn't enough. Ryan needed to understand that he couldn't go around destroying people's lives. At the gym, Ryan was waiting anxiously. "So, how did it go?" "Great, I'm going to sue him. But I want to do one more thing." "What?" Clara hesitated for a moment. "I want to talk to Julia. I have an idea." "What kind of idea?" "Let's expose him publicly. Show everyone who he really is." Ryan frowned. "Clara, are you sure? This could cause problems for you too." "What kind of problems?" "Everything I'm going to say is true." "Even so, don't you think you're going too far?" Clara stopped what she was doing and looked at Ryan. "Do you think I'm being vindictive?" "I don't know." "You have to answer that," Clara thought. Was it revenge or justice? The line was very thin. "Ryan, he put up posters on the street calling me a stalker. He made up that I'm stalking him. This could destroy my reputation, my job, my life. I understand, but what?" "Nothing. It's up to you. I just want you to be sure you're doing this for the right reasons." Clara nodded. Ryan was right. She needed to be sure of her own motivations. That afternoon, she met Julia at a coffee shop. "Clara, it's great to see you." "How are you?" "Stressed. Ryan is spreading lies about me." "Lies like what?" Clara showed the photos of the posters she had taken. Julia was outraged. "That's outrageous. He can't do that." "He can, and he did." "Julia, I have a proposal for you." "What proposal?" "Let's tell our story publicly. Show who Ryan really is." "What do you mean?" "Alive on Instagram. You telling what happened to us." Julia thought for a moment. "What if it goes wrong? What if he sues us?" "He won't sue, because everything we say is the truth." "Clara, there's something you need to know." "What?" "Ryan is getting married on Saturday." Clara almost spit out her coffee. "What do you mean, getting married?" "Yeah, to a new girl he met. Her family has money. I found out because a friend of mine works in the same building as him." "And does the girl know about you?" "About me?" "No. From what I heard, he told her he was single, that he had never been married." Clara felt a mix of shock and outrage. "He's going to deceive someone else." "Yeah, and I don't know what to do. I can't just show up and say, 'Hi, I'm his ex-pregnant girlfriend.'" Clara had an idea. "Julia, what if we did the live stream on Saturday? During the wedding." "You want to ruin his wedding?" "I want to save the life of an innocent girl." Julia fell silent, thinking, "Okay, let's do it." "But do you think it will work?" "It will. And do you know why?" Because this time, the truth will be stronger than his lies. During the week, Clara and Julia prepared for the live stream. They gathered screenshots of conversations, documents, photos, everything that proved Ricardo's lies and blackmail. Clara also managed to find out more details about the wedding through a friend who worked at the church. The bride's name was Patricia. She was 24 years old, and she was the daughter of a real estate businessman. "Poor girl," said Julia when they heard about it. "She doesn't know who she's getting involved with. That's why we need to do this," replied Clara. "Imagine if she finds out everything after she's married." On Thursday, Ryan tried to talk to Clara one last time. "Are you sure you want to do this? You were doing so well, freeing yourself from all this." "Ryan, I'm not doing this just for me. I'm doing it for Julia, for Patricia, for all the women he can still deceive. And what if it goes wrong?" "How could it go wrong? We're just going to tell the truth." "Clara, sometimes the truth hurts the one who tells it too." Clara looked at Ryan. He was really worried. "You don't want me to do this? I want you to be happy. And I'm afraid that getting involved in this story again will hurt you. Ryan, I need to do this. Do you understand? It's not about revenge. It's about not letting him do to others what he did to me." Raphael sighed. "Okay, but promise me that after this, you'll forget about him for good." "I promise." On Friday, Clara received a call that changed everything. "Hello?" "Clara, sorry to bother you. My name is Patricia." Clara felt her heart race. "Hi, Patricia. I got your number from a friend. I wanted to talk to you about Ryan." "What specifically about?" "About you two. I heard you dated. Is it true?" Clara was silent for a few seconds, deciding what to do. "Patricia, can I ask you a question?" "Sure. Why are you calling me the day before your wedding?" Because a friend of mine saw the posters he put up on the street, with your picture, and now I'm confused," Clara sighed. At least someone had seen the posters and realized something was wrong. "Patricia, can you meet me today?" "It's important." "Sure. What time?" "How about 3 in the afternoon?" "At the coffee shop in Central Park." "Okay, but why do you want to see me?" "Because there are some things about Ryan that you need to know before marrying him." When she hung up, Clara called Julia. "Change of plans. His fiancée wants to talk to me." "Really? What are you going to do?" "I'm going to tell her the truth, everything." "And the live stream?" "The live stream continues, but now she might participate too." In the afternoon, Clara arrived at the coffee shop feeling nervous. She didn't know how Patricia would react to the truth. Patricia was really beautiful. Young, well-dressed, with the look of someone who had never gone through major problems in life. "Hi, Clara. Wow, you're younger than I imagined." "Hi, Patricia. Thanks for coming." They sat at a reserved table. Patricia was visibly nervous. "So, what did you want to tell me about Ryan?" Clara took a deep breath. "Patricia, what I'm going to tell you is going to be hard to hear. But you need to know. You're scaring me. Ryan lied to you about several things, especially about his past." "What kind of lie?" "First, he hasn't been single for years like he told you. We got engaged and were going to get married 8 months ago." Patricia turned pale. "What do you mean we were going to get married?" "He left me at the altar, in front of 200 people. Clara grabbed her phone and showed some videos that were still on the internet. Patricia watched in total shock. "My God. Is this true?" "Yes, and there's more." Clara told her about Julia, about the pregnancy, about the blackmail, about everything. When she finished, Patricia was crying. "I can't believe it. He completely deceived me. Patricia, you still have time not to get married. But what about the guests? And the expenses? My dad has already paid for everything. It's better to lose money than to lose your whole life with a man like that." Patricia was silent for several minutes. "Clara, can I ask you something?" "Of course." "Why are you telling me this? You could have let me mess things up, because I know what it's like to find out that the person you love is a lie, and I wouldn't wish that on anyone. What do I do now?" "You cancel the wedding, and if you want, come do a live with me tomorrow telling the truth about Ryan." "A live?" Clara explained the plan. Patricia listened carefully. "Would you really do that? Help a stranger? I would. Because it's not about helping me. It's about stopping him from continuing to deceive people. Patricia wiped her tears. Okay, I'm in. But first, I need to cancel this wedding. On Saturday, Clara woke up more nervous than she had been on her own wedding day. Today was the day she was going to tell the truth about Ryan to the whole of Brazil. Patricia had cancelled the wedding on Friday night. According to her, it caused a huge scandal in the family. I told my parents that I discovered things about Ryan that made me change my mind, Patricia said over the phone. They were furious, but I didn't share the details. And what about Ryan? He's desperate. He called all night, but I blocked him. Clara, Raphael, Julia, and Patricia met at the gym at 5 in the afternoon. The live stream was scheduled for 8, the time when Ryan would be getting ready to go to church. Guys, I'm really nervous, said Julia. Me too, admitted Patricia. I've never done a live stream in my life. It's going to be fine, said Clara. We're just going to tell the truth. Raphael had helped organize everything. 2 cameras, microphones, basic lighting. Nothing too professional, but it would work. Clara, last chance to back out, he said. Are you sure? Absolutely. At exactly 8 o'clock, Clara started the live stream. Within minutes, there were already a few hundred people watching. Hi, everyone. I'm Clara, and this is a very special live stream. Do you remember the video of the bride who was left at the altar? The comments started to appear. Clara, finally. Where's the guy who left you? You look beautiful. So, Clara continued, today I'm here with 2 people who were deceived by the same man who deceived me, and we decided to tell the truth. Clara introduced Julia and Patricia. The number of viewers started to rise. 1,000, then 2,000. Julia, tell everyone what happened. Julia took a deep breath and began to speak. She talked about the relationship, about Ryan's betrayal, about the pregnancy, about the blackmail. The comments were getting more active. How disgusting. Sue him. Poor thing. Then it was Patricia's turn. She shared how she met Ryan, how he lied about everything, how she discovered the truth. I was supposed to get married today, she said, emotional. Right now I would be at the church. But thanks to Clara, I escaped. 5,000 people watching. Then 10,000. Guys, Clara said, we're not doing this to destroy anyone. We're doing this to warn other women. It was when Clara saw that Ryan was trying to comment on the live stream. These women are lying. I never did that. This is defamation. Clara smiled. Guys, from what I can see, Ryan has arrived. That's great. She looked directly at the camera. Ryan, if you're watching, listen carefully. It's over. You won't deceive anyone anymore. You won't blackmail anyone anymore. 15,000 people watching, and you know what? Thank you. Thank you for abandoning me. Because that's how I discovered who I really am. Clara took Raphael's hand. This is Ryan, my boyfriend. The man who loved me in my worst moments. The comments exploded. What a beautiful couple. You deserve to be happy. Ryan seems like a good guy. Clara looked at Julia and Patricia. They were both smiling, so that's it, folks. The truth about Ryan Smith. If any woman watching knows him, be careful. 20,000 people watching when Clara ended the live stream. When they hung up, everyone was exhausted but relieved. How do you feel? Asked Ryan. Free, replied Julia. Me too, said Patricia. And you, Clara? Clara thought for a moment. I feel at peace, like I've closed a chapter. Clara's phone rang. It was Mrs. Smith. Clara, I watched the live stream. Are you mad at me? No, my daughter. I'm proud of you. My son needed to learn that his actions have consequences. Clara was surprised. Mrs. Smith, Clara, take care of Julia and my grandson, okay? Since my son won't do it, I promise. And be happy with your Ryan. You both deserve it. When she hung up, Clara looked at the 2 women who had become her friends. Women who, like her, had been deceived by the same man, but who were now free. And now we live, said Julia. Now we forget that man exists, said Patricia. Now we are happy, said Clara, looking at Ryan. But Clara knew that one thing was still missing. The live stream had only been the beginning. Ryan wasn't going to stay quiet after that, and she needed to be prepared for what was to come next. On the Sunday following the live stream, Clara woke up to hundreds of notifications on her phone. The broadcast had gone viral beyond all expectations. "Love, come see this," shouted Ryan from the living room. Clara ran over. Ryan had his laptop open, showing the screen. "Look at this. It's trending on Twitter." Ryan Smith was among the most talked about topics in the US. Clara scrolled through the timeline and saw thousands of tweets. What a shameless guy. Abandons his bride at the altar and still wants to make another look like a fool. Clara is a warrior. What an evolution. Does anyone know this, Ryan? He really needs to be exposed. Ryan seems like a good guy. "I'm rooting for them." Clara smiled, reading the comments. Most were supportive, but there were some attacks too. She only did this out of revenge. A scorned woman is dangerous. 3 women against 1 man. Suspicious. I bet she's lying to get attention. "Don't pay attention to those comments," said Ryan, seeing that Clara was upset. "There will always be people like that." The phone rang. It was Julia. "Clara, did you see the news?" "What news?" "Turn on the TV to the news channel." "Quick!" Clara turned on the television. On the screen, a news anchor was talking about the case. The video of 3 women accusing a man of deceiving all of them has gone viral on social media. Clara Johnson, who became known as the bride abandoned at the altar, did a live stream yesterday. "Oh my God," Clara whispered. "It's on national TV." The report showed clips from the live stream and interviews with people on the street. "I think they did the right thing. The guy's a real jerk. I don't know, right? Exposing someone like that on the internet. It might be an exaggeration. If it were me, I would do worse." When the report ended, Clara was in shock. "That turned out bigger than I imagined," she said, running her hand through her hair. "Yeah, how are you feeling?" "Confused. At the same time, I wanted people to know the truth. I didn't expect it to get so big like this. Clara, you did the right thing. It's just that sometimes doing the right thing has consequences we don't expect." Clara's phone rang again. Unknown number. "Hello, Clara? This is from the production of the Sunday Legal Show. Would you be willing to give an interview?" Clara looked at Ryan with wide eyes. "An interview?" "Yes, Celso Portioli wants to talk to you about the case. It can be today." I need to think, of course. But don't take too long, because the topic is hot." Clara hung up the phone, feeling a bit dizzy. "What happened?" Ryan asked. "They want me to go on TV on Celso Portioli's show." "Wow, do you want to go?" "I don't know. This is scaring me. I just wanted to warn a few people, not turn it into a circus." Before Clara could respond, the phone rang again. This time it was a number she recognized. "Ryan, don't answer," said Raphael, but Clara answered. "Hello. Clara, have you lost your mind?" "What did you do to me?" Ryan's voice was altered. He sounded desperate. "I told the truth, Ryan." "Truth? You made up a bunch of stuff. Now I'm getting threats." "Threats?" "Yes. The people from the internet are stalking me. They found out where I live, where I work. My boss has already called me in to talk." Clara felt a pang of guilt but remembered the posters on the street. "Ryan, I only told what you did to me and the others. But you didn't have to make such a scene. You could have talked to me." "Talk? Like the posters you put up on the street calling me a stalker." "Silence on the other end. Ryan?" "Clara, I'm begging you. Make another video. Say you exaggerated. That the situation wasn't that serious." "I'm not going to do that." "Please. It's a complete mess here." "And you think my life didn't turn into a mess when you left me at the altar?" "But that's different." "It's not different at all. You planted it, now you reap. Clara, if you don't do this, I'm going to sue you." "You and the other 2, Clara laughed. "Go ahead and sue. Everything we said is true, and now we have a good lawyer." Ricardo hung up on her. Clara stared at the phone, feeling a mix of satisfaction and worry. "He really seems desperate," she told Raphael. "Clara, this isn't your fault. You didn't send anyone to chase him, I know, but still. Shouldn't I have thought better about the consequences?" "Sweetheart, you couldn't have predicted it would go viral like this. And even if you had known, you did the right thing." On Monday, Clara arrived at work and noticed something was different. Her colleagues stopped talking when she walked by. Some smiled, others looked away. "Clara, the boss wants to talk to you," said the receptionist. Clara felt her stomach churn. Was she going to be fired because of the exposure? "Come in." Mr. Smith was a serious man in his 50s. He had always been fair with Clara, but never very close. "Sit down, Clara. Did something happen?" "You know what happened. The whole internet is talking about you." Clara sighed. "Mr. Smith, I can explain." "You don't need to explain anything. I saw the live stream. I saw the reports. And I want to tell you something." Clara held her breath, expecting the worst. "I admire you." "How?" "What you did was brave. Exposing a guy like that publicly isn't easy." Clara was surprised. "Aren't you angry?" "Angry? Why? You didn't do anything wrong. On the contrary. You showed that you have character, but what if it causes problems for the company?" "What problem?" "Since yesterday, we've already received 3 calls from clients praising you. They said they want to work with a company that has honest employees." Clara left the room relieved, but still shaken. The sudden fame was proving to be harder to handle than she had imagined. During lunch, she met with her old friends from the office. "Clara, oh my God, you're famous," said Amanda from accounting. "Famous in a way I didn't want." "Why not?" "Everyone here is proud of you. It's strange. Yesterday I was a normal person. Today everyone on the street recognizes me, but that's good. You can take the opportunity to do cool things." "What kind of things?" "I don't know." "Become a speaker. Talk about overcoming challenges." Clara had never thought about that. "Do you really think anyone would want to hear my story?" "Clara, you have no idea how many women go through the same thing you went through. You've become a symbol that you can turn things around, that we don't have to accept being treated poorly." At the end of the day, Clara was leaving work when she noticed that some people on the street recognized her. Some smiled and waved. Others just looked on with curiosity. It was a strange feeling. Not bad, but strange. She was waiting for the bus when she saw a scene that made her alert. A man was standing on the corner looking at her. When he realized she had noticed him, he quickly walked away. Clara became worried. She took out her phone and called Ryan. "Love, can you pick me up from work? I have a bad feeling. I'm on my way. Stay inside until I get there." 15 minutes later, Ryan arrived. Clara told him about the strange man. "It could have just been a coincidence," he said. "But let's keep an eye out." "Ryan, I'm starting to get scared. What if Ryan sends someone to follow me? If anything happens, we'll go to the police. But don't get paranoid." That night, Clara had trouble sleeping. Every time she heard a noise outside, she woke up startled. The fame was taking a toll that she hadn't expected. On Tuesday, Clara woke up to a call from Julia. "Clara, you need to see this. Ryan gave an interview on a podcast." "What podcast?" "That one from Fluxo. He's saying that we made everything up, that you're obsessed with him." Clara went straight to YouTube and found the video. Ryan was there in a suit, hairstyled, playing the victim. "Look, what happened is this," he said to the host. "Clara never got over our relationship. When she found out I was getting married again, she came up with this plan to hurt me. But the evidence they showed, all fabricated. Julia, for example, she's not sure if she's pregnant with me. She admitted herself that she was seeing other guys. And what about Patricia? Patricia cancelled the wedding because she found out I didn't have as much money as she thought. Then Clara convinced her to go along with the charade." Clara was outraged. How could he have the nerve to keep lying? "And what about you abandoning Clara at the altar?" "Look, it was a moment of nervousness. Weddings shake anyone up. I could have handled the situation better, that's true. But turning this into a national scandal is just wrong." The host seemed to be buying his version. "Are you thinking of suing them?" "My lawyers are already taking care of that." Clara hung up the video, furious. She called Ryan. "Did you see his interview?" "I did." "What a shameless guy. Ryan, he's twisting the story, making me look like the villain." "Clara, those who know you know who you are. And those who don't, well, that doesn't really matter. But what if people believe him?" "Some will believe. Others won't. That's just how it is." Clara hung up, still feeling bothered. She needed to do something. She called Dr. Henry, the lawyer. Dr. Ryan gave an interview, making up a bunch of things. "Can I do something?" You can. Let's document everything he said that was false. And you can issue a right of reply. What do you mean? Respond to his lies publicly, with evidence. Clara liked the idea. I'll do that. That afternoon, she recorded a video on her phone, sitting in her living room. Hi, everyone. I'm Clara. A lot of people are sending me Ryan's video from the podcast. He said several lies, so I decided to clarify a few things. Clara went point by point, dismantling each lie. She showed screenshots of conversations, documents, and photos, the DNA test of Julia, the screenshots of the threats, the photos of the posters he put up on the street. It's all here. At the end of the video, she looked directly at the camera. Ryan, you can keep lying as much as you want, but the truth always comes out. And I have all the proof in the world. Clara posted the video on Instagram and TikTok. In 2 hours, it already had over 1 million views. The comments were almost all supportive. Clara nailed it. There's no better proof than this. Ryan is such a liar. What a shameless guy. This guy has no limits. A few hours later, Patricia called. Clara, did you see? Ryan deleted the interview from YouTube. Really? Yes. And he posted a story apologizing. He said he was nervous and said stupid things. Clara laughed. Of course. When he saw it didn't work, he changed his tune. What are you going to do now? Nothing. Let him sink on his own. But Clara was tired of all that confusion. She just wanted peace to live her life with Ryan. Baby, should we travel this weekend? He suggested. Let's far away from all of this. That night, Clara slept a little more peacefully. She had defended her version of the facts. Now all she could do was hope that everything would calm down. On Thursday, 3 days after the response video, Clara was at work when she received a call that left her in a panic. Clara, this is Mrs. Smith. Hi, Mrs. Smith, how are you? Terrible, to be honest. My son is out of control. What do you mean? Ever since he saw your response video, he hasn't slept. He isn't eating properly. He keeps walking around the house, talking to himself. Clara became worried. Mrs. Smith, do you think he might do something foolish? I don't know, my dear. But he's saying strange things. That you three destroyed his life. That he won't let this go. Do you think I should be concerned? I think you all should be careful. My son isn't thinking straight. Clara promised to be careful and immediately called Julia and Patricia. Girls, Ryan's mum called. He's a bit unstable. Unstable how? Julia asked. According to her, he's saying he won't let this go. I think we should keep an eye on him. On Friday, Clara and Ryan went away to a lodge in the mountains, despite the worry. Clara needed some time away from all that chaos. How nice it is to have no cell signal, Clara said, breathing in the fresh air. Yeah, just us and nature. They spent the entire weekend disconnected, aching, talking moments of peace that Clara hadn't experienced in weeks. Sunday afternoon, when they returned to the city, Clara had several accumulated messages. Clara, call me urgently. Julia, something serious happened. Patricia, call me as soon as you get back. Dr. Henry. Clara got nervous. Something serious must have happened. She called the lawyer first. Dr. Henry, it's Clara. Did something happen? Clara, where have you been? I've been trying to talk to you since yesterday. I traveled. Why? Ryan was detained. Clara almost dropped the phone. Detained? Why? Disturbing the peace and threats. He went to Julia's house to cause a scene. The neighbors called the police and he was detained. My God. Is she okay? She is. He was released the same day, but now he has to comply with a protective order. He can't come near you three? What does that mean? It means he can't come near you three. If he does, it's immediate arrest. Clara hung up and told everything to Ryan Oliver. At least now he can't bother you anymore, said Ryan. Yeah, but I'm worried. Will this really solve anything? They went straight to Julia's house. Patricia was already there. Clara, I'm so glad you made it, said Julia, running to hug her. How are you? Shaken, but okay. Tell me everything that happened. Saturday night I was watching TV when someone knocked on the door. I thought it was a delivery, right? When I opened it, it was Ryan. Julia looked visibly nervous. He had a scary look. Red eyes, messy hair. He looked like he hadn't slept in days. And then he started yelling. He said I had ruined his life, that because of me he lost his job, lost his fiancée, became a national joke. What a horror, said Patricia. I tried to close the door, but he put his foot in. He said he wasn't leaving until I confessed that it was all a lie. And then I started screaming for help. The neighbor next door came to see what was happening. Ryan got even more agitated, started cursing everyone. Thank God the neighbor helped, yeah, and thank goodness someone called the police quickly. Because he was completely out of control. Clara hugged her friend. Julia, you won't be alone anymore. We'll take turns staying with you. You don't have to do that. Yes, you do. Until all this confusion passes, none of us will be alone. That night, Clara slept at Julia's house. Patricia stayed on the couch. The three women who had been deceived by the same man were now protecting each other. It was strange how a tragedy had turned into a true friendship. 2 months after the incident at Julia's house, life had returned to a more peaceful routine. Ryan was complying with the restraining order and, according to Mrs. Smith, had moved to a small town where he found work. During those months, Clara had taken the opportunity to make amends with her family. It hadn't been easy. Many conversations, many tears, a lot of pride swallowed on both sides. But in the end, they understood that they had been wrong not to support her when she needed it most. Clara was at the gym doing her workout when Ryan approached her with a different smile. Clara, can I ask you something? Sure. Will you marry me? Clara almost dropped the dumbbell. What? Ryan knelt right there in the middle of the gym and took a small box out of his pocket. Clara Johnson, will you marry me? The whole gym stopped to watch. Clara was speechless. Ryan, I love you. You are the strongest woman I know, and I want to spend the rest of my life by your side. Yes. Clara shouted before even thinking. Yes, I do. The entire gym applauded. People recorded it. It was a perfect moment. 6 months later, Clara was at the altar again. But this time it was completely different. The dress was simple, white, beautiful. The church was small, just family and close friends. And the groom was there, smiling, waiting for her with eyes full of love. You both look beautiful, whispered Julia, who was the maid of honor. Julia had had the baby, a beautiful boy who looked just like her. She had landed a good job and was building an independent life. Clara, stop crying or you're going to make me cry too, joked Patricia. Patricia was dating a guy she met at work. A calm relationship with no rush, no lies. It's just so emotional, Clara said, wiping her tears. After everything, you deserve to be happy, Julia said. The three had become true friends. They talked every day, supporting each other in everything. It's time, Clara's father said, offering his arm. In the previous months, Clara had worked to rebuild her relationship with her family. It had been difficult, with many honest conversations about how they had abandoned her when she needed support the most. But in the end, everyone apologized and was there to celebrate her happiness. The wedding march began. Clara walked down the aisle smiling. There was no nervousness, no fear, just happiness. Ryan looked handsome at the altar. When he saw her, he smiled that special way only he knew how. Clara Johnson, said the priest, do you take Ryan Oliver as your husband? Clara looked at Ryan. She thought about everything she had been through. The humiliation, the pain, the struggle. And she thought about how she found strength she didn't even know she had. I do, she said, smiling. Ryan Oliver, do you take Clara Johnson as your wife? I do, Ryan said, not taking his eyes off her. Then I declare you husband and wife. You may kiss the bride. The kiss was beautiful. Soft, affectionate, full of promises. The guests applauded. Hi, husband, she whispered. Hi, wife, he replied. The party was small but perfect. Emotional speeches, laughter, music, dancing. During the party, Mrs. Smith approached. Clara, can I talk to you? Of course, Mrs. Smith. I wanted to thank you. Thank me for what? For showing my son that he needed to change. He's doing well now. In therapy, working in a small town. For the first time, he admitted he was wrong. I'm happy to hear that. And can I ask you something? Of course, be happy. You both deserve all the happiness in the world. A year and a half later, Clara was at the gym she had opened with Ryan, Fresh Start Fitness, specialized in people who wanted to change their lives. "How was the workout today, Mrs. Smith?" Clara asked a new student. "Difficult but good. I never imagined I could do it." Mrs. Smith was 55 years old and was getting divorced after 30 years of marriage. "You'll be surprised by your own strength," Clara said. "Do you really think so?" "I'm sure." Clara looked around. The gym was full. Men and women of all ages, all seeking a new chance. Julia arrived with her son in a stroller. The little boy was already walking, such a cutie. "Hi, Aunt Clara," said the little one. "Hi, my love." Patricia was warming up to run on the treadmill. She had become an amateur marathon runner. Raphael was attending to a new client, explaining the exercises with that patience only he had. Clara touched her belly. It was still early, but she and Raphael were going to have a baby. Life was complete. Her phone rang. It was a message from a follower on Instagram. "Clara, thank you for sharing your story. My husband cheated on me and I thought my life was over. But seeing you, I realize it's possible to start over. Thank you for giving me strength." Clara smiled and replied, "Life always gives a second chance to those who have the courage to accept it. Stay strong, dear. You can do it." She put her phone away and returned to her workout. Life was good, difficult sometimes, but good, and she was ready for whatever came her way. At the end of the day, Clara and Raphael closed the gym together. "Tired?" he asked. "No." "Fulfilled? Is there anything you would change? If you could go back in time?" Clara thought for a moment. "Nothing. Not even being left at the altar. Seriously. Seriously. Because if it weren't for that, I would have never discovered who I really am. And I would have never found you." Ryan smiled and kissed her forehead. "I love you. I love you too." They walked out hand in hand, ready for another day of happiness. Did you like this story? Do you think Clara did the right thing by exposing Ryan publicly? Do you think everyone got the ending they deserved? Let me know in the comments. Until the next story.